Hello everyone. It's been a little while since I've actually done an update. A lot has happened. So I'm not someone who always posts videos on my YouTube channel very frequently because I'm a lot of stuff in life going on, and then I try to play a Sierra game without looking at walkthroughs so that I can't burn through them very quickly. But I've definitely taken a longer absence, and ironically, YouTube is the one who reminded me, who said, "Hey, you finally reached over, I think it says 1,080 subscribers, and they haven't heard from you in a while, and they miss you." Well, I don't know how true that is, that people actually miss me on my YouTube channel, but I figured, you know what, it has been a long time. And so, a long story short, a couple weeks ago, my 2000 Xterra finally gave up the fight. I noticed that basically when I put it in reverse to get out of the driveway and then put it into drive, the from reverse it was instant, but when I put it into drive, there was like initially a 3-second delay before it kicked into drive, and I just thought, I've had this car for 24 years. It's 2000 Xterra. It's like pretty old. This is normal. And I think that was me rationalizing that something else was probably wrong with my car. A couple days later, that from reverse to drive, reverse was still instant, but the kick to drive took about 10 seconds. So now I'm like pulling out of the out of the driveway into my street, and for a good 10 seconds I am literally just revving my engine to make the car go, and I realize something's wrong. And so I want to say it was like 3-4, it's probably been 4 weeks now, I think 4 weeks. The final kicker was I put it into reverse, went to put it into drive, and I want to say about for 30 to 45 seconds, my car did not move. I was literally just in the middle of my street, revving my engine for like 45 seconds at like 7 in the morning, trying to get to work. And at that point, I said, all right, we got to take this car while it can still move to the garage, which is like about 2 miles away from my house. And so I drive it there, and they said, hey, you know what, actually what you want to do is take it next door, because they actually do transmissions. Like, we just do spot check and stuff like that. And I was like, okay. Get in the car, put it in reverse again, pull out of that spot, and just sit there for like another 45 seconds, revving my engine until it kicks in, and I drive it literally next door. And I drop it off to them, and they took a look at it. Like, I want to say it was the following day, they called me and they said, hey, yeah, your transmission is going out on you, as you may have guessed. But there's also a hole in your radiator, and we also think there's probably a hole somewhere in your oil. The oil I could actually explain, because the cap that you turn when I put oil in there, that cap is the same cap that has been in this car for 24 years. So when I went to turn it, the cap actually cracked. So I suspect that the oil that is actually on the engine was probably just the oil bubbling out of that crack in the cap. So that's not a big deal. But the transmission was going to cost me $3,500, and then the hole in the radiator was going to cost me another $1,000. So that would have been $4,500 to fix a 24-year-old car. Now, it's a car that I absolutely love. The car has my stickers on the back for my Machinima series that I also do, or I've done. It's on, if you do a search for Never Ending Nights Machinima here on YouTube, you'll find it. It's a 65 episode series of fun videos that I did. And I love this car. Like, I'm very emotionally attached to this car. So when they told me it was going to cost $4,500 to fix, and the guy was even like, it's a 24-year-old car, it's not even worth fixing it. And I agreed, and thankfully my work is actually fairly close, so I drove the car back from the shop and having to do the same thing. It was great. When the guy went to bring it back from the front, I said, he had the window up, but I was like, leave it running, leave it running, leave it running. So he parks the car, turns it off, and I was like, so I get in there, go into drive, and sit there for like 45 seconds revving the engine again until it kicks off to go. And so for that time, that my Xterra still literally is parked in front of my house, and need to get to work, obviously. thankfully, like I said, work is close, so I was going to ride my bike. As it would turn out, the strip that the wire for your brakes, when they go to the back, they're stripped out. So where the brake connects into the back of the wheel, that wire has been stripped out. On top of that, my bike for the gear, it is also stripped there. So I don't know what happened. This bike has literally been sitting in my garage for like 5 years and that I've barely touched. Like after COVID happened, like my wife and I we stopped riding our bikes. We used to ride it around the school with our dogs, and we just stopped when COVID hit. And so I don't know what happened to my bike gears in that time. I've moved my bike when I need to get stuff in the garage. I don't know if I got it hung on something because my wife's bike is next to mine. I don't know if it got hung on the bike when I was moving it. I don't know. So I'm down a bike, I'm down a car. And so thankfully, as I said, my work is fairly close. I could walk there if I left like 2 hours early. But thankfully, a coworker also lives close to me, and he said, "Hey, I'll get you a ride, man." So for those, I want to say it was 3 weeks, I was hitching a ride with him, looking for a car. Like, didn't even care if it barely ran or whatever. I just needed to get a car. As it would turn out, luck was on our side because my wife's cousin, I want to say, they knew someone who basically ran a dealership about 8 hours north of me in San Jose. And so we managed to strike a deal with them and stuff like that and didn't buy the car. We had to do a lease. And because of the whole situation of how we were getting it, and it was far away, and they were going to ship the car to us, that took like another week. And so for those 4 to 5 weeks, I pretty much shut down because my mind was so consumed with like stress. Like going to get groceries suddenly became a big deal. Like we were having to do where you basically order it online and they drop the food in bags, because I could not possibly walk about 2 miles to the grocery store carrying like cans of soda and all this stuff to my house. And I certainly didn't want to keep asking my coworker to be like, "Hey, can you just also give me a ride to the grocery store?" So the only time I was really walking to the grocery store, or not the grocery store, but to our local Target, because that's where our pharmacy is, was to get medication for my wife or myself. And so that's the time when I'd walk over there. So I like I said, I shut down. Like I think I've talked about it down here before, that I run like D&D games. Like I've postponed all of that because my brain wasn't in the right place to try to think creatively and do that type of stuff. Now, before all of this happened with my car, I was playing Freddy Farkas, which was the next game I was playing, and I did manage to get some time playing that in, but I didn't get very far. Because again, I'm not doing it with a walkthrough, and I think the last time I played Freddy Farkas was probably over 10 years ago, and it was with my wife. Like the game, I want to say it was maybe even longer than it now that I'm thinking about it, because I think it was when the game had first come out, or had barely been out for a while, when my wife and I started playing it. I could be wrong on that date, though. Because I think it came out in 89, Freddy Farkas. If it came out in the 90s, it would have been the first time I was probably playing it with my wife. I may have come out before, and I just never played it until I played it with my wife. But the first time I played it, I played Freddy Farkas with my wife, and that was before she was my wife. And we've been married a very long time, 24 years, something. I don't know. Don't tell her I said I don't know. I want to say it's 24 years. But anyway, I haven't played it in a very long time, so replaying Freddy Farkas without any kind of walkthrough, the game is not easy. It's not something I haven't memorized. It's not one of the games I've played so frequently that I haven't memorized. So I haven't got far. But I also admit that I've played a lot of lately Lord of the Rings Online. It's you can play free. So a long time ago when it first came out, I had subbed to playing Lord of the Rings Online because I love Lord of the Rings. I love Tolkien. So I've been playing a little bit of Lord of the Rings Online, so that's also been time consuming, taking away from the time I would normally play Freddy Farkas. But my plan is, thanks to YouTube reminding me that I have my 1,080 fans out there who clearly miss me. I'm talking to like the 2 of you who are actually watching this video. Give a like and a subscribe if you haven't already. I want to thank all of those who have already subscribed to the channel, made it to allowed me to get to that 1,000. ironically, with everything that's going on, I've been trying to get to that 1,000 so I can actually try to monetize my channel. And YouTube's email saying, hey, you have 1,080 fans who miss you, reminded me. I haven't even, since reaching 1,000 fans, because everything that was going on with the car, I haven't even turned on monetizing my videos yet. So I haven't even done that. So I need to do that. I need to get back to playing Freddy Farkas, and I need to back to getting this channel the attention and the love that it deserves, because all of you helped me get to that 1,000 subscriber mark. So I want to thank you all. And this was supposed to be a really short video of me just explaining what's going on with my life, or what's been going on with my life in the car, and it's now like over 10 minutes long. So I just wanted to thank you all and say hello, I'm still alive, and I'll see you soon playing Freddy Farkas.